The past 2 or 3 years, as an aftermath of the pandemic, we were able to cope with it in the best possible ways only because we had the privilege of education. Right? We want to give the best to our kids. We want to give the best to our kids for every single thing. But was this the best for every child in the country? Let me share some numbers with you. What about the so many millions of them out there who didn't have the access or the right to this basic need, right? Until now, we thought that, okay, roti, kapda, makan was a basic need. But if you need to survive and thrive, let's make it roti, kapda, makan and education, right? Because that's going to be that one weapon that is going to be the game changer and make sure that we're living and surviving and thriving in a boundaryless world. I'm honored and delighted to introduce today here at the Kidstop Press Awards the power of educating, empowering every child with the launch of Empower by BYJU'S Education for All initiative, a community-driven initiative that aims to take digital learning to as many children as possible, giving them a chance at remote learning. The idea is to inspire people, each one of you. And I want each one of you in the room to be compassionate, to be empathetic, and to be giving. Because I want each one of you to head over to the BYJU'S booth outside. All you need to do is very, very simple. And of course, we're going to talk about it in a little bit of a detail in terms of how you can do it. But imagine we have so many backup devices lying around. If we could just even chance on that thought that that device which is just floating around in your house could actually be a window to somebody's future. I would now like to call upon Mansi Kasliwal, VP Social Impact Initiatives at BYJU'S for a fireside chat on how every one of us here in this room can be part of this noble initiative that will impact the lives of all those around us. What was the conception idea for the initiative and this film? Where did BYJU'S Education for All stem from?
So I think as educators, the founders of the organization at heart, you saw that Divya is a teacher, BYJU'S is a teacher. The entire founding team actually started out as being teachers. And so this whole idea of fundamental thought of giving back through teaching is very core to the organization. I think this was around 2020, even before the pandemic, that this thought came that why is it that we're only touching the lives of those children who can afford it? Why not, through our teaching content, also reach out to children who can't really afford this education? Because, I mean, let's face the truth, we do have 70% of our school-going children living in rural India who do not, therefore, have access to good quality education. They do go to government schools, but we know that there is a gap in the quality of learning between schools in urban areas and rural areas. And then there are also children who don't go to school at all. So I think that is where this idea began, that we are teachers, we want to do good, education is a social good, and the least we can do is extend this to children who can't really afford it. All we need to do is take that, 2 steps forward and see how we can do that. So that's where Education for All sort of got conceptualized, and the pandemic happened soon after. And I think once the pandemic happened, then the work that we had charted for ourselves had to be accelerated. We started with a very modest target of wanting to help 1 million children in India by the year 2025. But during the pandemic, we saw huge interest. BYJU'S, where we were able to take BYJU'S content was in many places the only way that children were learning. I think we're all very privileged, like Mansi mentioned. We could afford internet, electricity, devices, 3 children in the family, 3 devices. Our schools were equipped to go online. Our teachers were able to teach digitally. But can you even imagine what 150 million children in India, they had absolutely no option. Plus, they are all first generation learners. Even their parents can't teach them. They're the first 8-year-old, 9-year-old who even knows how to read ABCD. So just imagine what is the learning loss as a country, as a nation that we were looking at when we were leaving these children behind. And so we literally, in that first phase of the pandemic, sort of put our heads down and said, how is it that we maximize this impact? We just have one mission right now: make sure we are present in every house, whichever corner of the country. And I think that's where the scale sort of, we really started scaling up. We got very good traction. In year one, we were reaching out to 3.5 million children. Therefore, we revised our target. So currently, we have pledged to teach 10 million children for free. By the year 2025, we are halfway through that target. But we need your help to actually get there.
Guys, come on, a huge round of applause. We're talking of 5.5 million children's lives being touched. I want all of y'all right here to raise your hands if you're going to go out and actually pledge. We want to all be part of that 10 million number. I want to be part of it. When she actually said that, 3 devices, three kids, 3 devices, बहुत दुख हुआ यार, because that's the reality. It really hit hard. We're really, really privileged and we take it for granted. So thank you for joining me in this pledge. Idea hota hai and it just gets stuck in the execution. How do we make this seamless that we can empower? Like if I've done it, Sunil's done it, Simon's done it, how do we make it word of mouth that more and more people join, that it becomes seamless effort? What's the process?
It's really simple, like absolutely simple. We've tried to make it literally one single click for you. All you have to do, I'm sure you already know your helper, domestic helpers, cook, driver, security guard, anybody's child who's currently studying in a government school. We prefer grades 4 to 12 because I think children younger than that, devices I don't think they can really handle. So grade 4 to 12 would be an ideal age for you to find. The child does not have to be living in rural India. They could be in urban India, but they need to be going to a government school because we also want to make sure that we are able to help those who deserve it the most, right? So if you know a child who's going to a government school, who you know personally, all you have to do is fill a form. It's a simple form with, literally 4 data points that you need to fill out. Post that, you will get an email from us where we will request you to actually put in some more details of the device that you're donating. Because I think by now you've seen that 2 components. One is a device, one is the learning content. We know we can handle the learning content, but the device is where we need your help. So all you have to do is either find an old device that is still in working condition. The specifications of the device and everything are mentioned. But it's really simple. I'm sure that, in the last 4 years, we've all been through 3 or 4 phones, right? And I think if you all go back home, there'll be 2 of those devices lying somewhere in some old cupboard. All you have to do is dig it out. Send me the details of that on that form. Once we receive the details of the student that you're nominating, that student will have access to this content.
Let's have a huge round of applause for that, guys. This is seamless, effortless. This can be done. And you're not spreading it too far, you're spreading it within your first circle of influence.
Think about it, right? That family will be grateful to you for the rest of their lives because education is the most powerful tool that you can give to someone for social equity. It's the greatest equalizer. So if you can change the trajectory of somebody's life by using your old device, I'm not even asking for a new device, by using something that is actually trash for you, it's as simple as that. So I really urge all of you to think about it, make that little effort of finding that old device and giving it.
Is internet required for?
So it depends. It'll be great if there is internet on the phone also. If there is not, we do have ways in which we can, make it possible for children who do not have internet. So both those options will be available. Once we receive your details, we'll be able to tell you how can we help. So yeah, there are a little bit, and we do have, government boards also. So your child, the one that you're nominating, can study in their regional language. We do have regional languages. We do have state boards. So it will be the content they'll be learning will actually be supplemental learning to their school-based learning. So there is going to be no conflict in what they're learning.
Hello.
And we have science and math. Just the subjects that we do are science and math. So STEM subjects.
Right. Prerna, you have a question.
Yeah, I just want to know, you said devices that are lying around. So sometimes, we keep the devices because they're not working very well, right? So maybe like, it's slowed down or something like that. Will those devices also work?
See, ideally, it's got to be a device in a working condition because that's the experience the student will have. So I feel, and we've been doing this in pockets here and there, is that most devices will not work because they are at capacity in terms of their RAM. So I think if you clean up the device, if you take away your personal data, recharge it, maybe you might need a small repair or something. But yes, the device needs to be in working condition because it will need to be able to install an app and work from there.
2 concluding questions. One is data privacy. because I think that's a very, very, I mean, as a parent, I'd be very, very concerned.
Sure.
So one is data privacy, and tell me a story or a story of a child whose lives have been transformed or changed because of the initiative.
Yes, I think thank you, Mansi, for bringing up the question on data privacy because it's absolutely crucial. So I think here we're looking at two data sets. One is your own data that may be on the phone, right? So I think it is best that you actually put your phone on factory settings before you donate this phone. Really simple, I think we all know how to do that. That will ensure that none of your personal data is still available on the phone. It will also clean out your data, so will make the the backend stronger, faster. That's number one. Number two, as far as Byju's is concerned as a company, we absolutely, like in a maniacal way, protect data security of children. We have to. We work with the government. We work on government projects. We work with actually several state governments. Just to give you an example, we are currently working with the Andhra Pradesh government, and every school child, 33 lakh children of the entire Andhra Pradesh State Education Department are learning from Byju's. So we follow .nic guidelines. We comply with NCPCR, which is the government's body for child's rights protection. So I think in that sense, children's data is absolutely secure. It doesn't go anywhere. Your data is on the device. So please, just make that to factory settings and it will be taken care of. I think I have so many, Mansi. It's difficult to choose from because, like I said, we've been able to actually touch 5.5 million lives in the last few years. So I'll quickly tell you two stories, right? We work in very remote areas also. So there are girls in Kashmir that we are working with currently in an area called Kupwara. It's one of the border districts. It is something. It's a sensitive area. It's not easy for children to go to school. And girls, forget about it. So there is this whole community, small colony of girls who've been wanting to, they aspire to become doctors. And I think the pandemic has further fueled that aspiration because everybody realized that doctors are just someone who saves lives. So there are these, little community of girls sitting in Kupwara, in Kashmir, who have no hope of going to school. Their parents don't know what to do with them. And so through one of our not-for-profit partners and through the Army Goodwill School that we work with, we were able to actually reach out to these girls. Interestingly, 60% of those girls have actually enrolled into a medical program with us through our NEET coaching program. I'm very happy to inform you that all of these girls are doing extremely well. They will be taking the NEET exam next year. And the way that they're doing, I'm really hoping that we'll be able to get at least 50% into top colleges. So we have these girls who never even thought that they could go to school, but the school went to them. Our Akash coaching teachers were teaching them online. Their parents cannot object because now the girls don't have to step anywhere. So that's one story of literally changing that entire community, because now other girls, younger girls in that community also aspire, right? They're like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it too. So we've literally made superheroes of these girls, and everybody wants to be that Didi now. I think second case in point is where there have been, cases where mothers, and I'm especially talking about this because we're all, mostly mothers here. Mothers hadn't completed their graduation because of whatever family pressures they had, right? They were not able to even give their 10th exams. But now that the device is sitting in the student's house and they see that their child is studying, they took it up, they picked it up and they started learning. We then started receiving requests that now that we have finished the 9th grade, 10th grade content, can we go and write an exam? Can you help us also write an exam so that we can call ourselves graduates? I'm like, this is amazing, right? We weren't even looking at this. We weren't even, when we started out, we didn't even think of this, use case. We said, absolutely, we will make it work. So we currently have 20,000 such mothers.
Yeah, I'm really, really proud of this number.
Who decided to, on their own, self-initiated, study from their child's mobile phone, use the Byju's content in their free time, and then reached out to us and said, hey, let me write the exam next year. And we said, sure, we'll do it for you. So that's happening, and seeing the success, we're definitely going to amplify that program also. Thank you. It's now we need you, right? Because as I was listening to Mansi earlier, there were 8,000 nominations for the awards. I just want 8,000 nominations today for the children, right? That's all I'm asking for. Just give me 8,000 nominations of children who you think can benefit from this.
Absolutely. We've all pledged, guys. I want each one of y'all, after the ceremony, to please go ahead and pledge. And of course, take that picture because I want to amplify that through Kids Stop Press. I want to be that voice in amplifying this initiative, which is Byju's Education for All. So thank you.
Thank you. And you don't have to limit to yourself if you know,
Absolutely.
you can spread the word. And because like I said, we have a really big target, 10 million. So it'll take each one of us to get there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.